miserable damn life.
Just one person in my miserable damn life. Okay, so this is a video that I made a few years ago. Actually, it was last year. It was after me and my mum had discussed my moving out. And, you know, for like probably a few times. This is like maybe the fourth, fifth time in the last 2 years or whatever at the time. And this is pretty much her fake crying, like crocodile tears. Even if the actual crying is, you know, like genuine, like she really is crying and weeping and bawling. I say it is insincere because, yeah, it seems like, okay, like I'm gonna, I don't know, leave and she's gonna miss me because she loves me and likes me and all this, so it's like boo hoo hoo, and that would be sincere. But the fact that it's unsincere, what I mean by that is that she's not crying because she's going to lose her child and she's going to miss her child because she loves said child. No, she is crying because after all these years, her life is changing and she's losing her carer. She's losing her slave, pretty much. She's only bothered about losing a servant. She's not asked about losing a friend or a, you know, child. And like, oh, woe is me, I'm going to be lonely, you know, the only person, because you can kind of understand, you know, I'm like the only person in her life, the last person in her life. And she's an old woman, a disabled old woman, and if I left, she'd be left all on her own, and that's scary. So I understand that, so that's why I think that part of it is real and not fake. But the part that I think is fake and insincere, even if it's not the actual crying, like I'm not denying that she's actually upset and sad, but I think her reasoning for being sad is a selfish one, because she has been selfish. Like she just roped me into being a carer like 12 years ago, so that's 12 years of my life gone. 12 years that I could have been, you know, working towards a career and a future life of my own, savings, money, a house of my own, so on and so forth. But instead I've been, you know, spending the best years of my life, my 20s, just looking after her and focusing all of my time and attention onto her, my mental, emotional and physical energy on her. Emotional because she was emotionally taxing, with the fact that she would have a go at me a lot, and I always had to walk on eggshells with her, and, you know, I had to always do things a certain way. Like, it wasn't just about doing her caring needs, it was about doing things very specific ways, and if I didn't do them, these very intricate, specific ways of doing things, then she would bawl and shout at me and get really mad and call me names, call me stupid, call me whatever, and it was just really hurtful. Like, I actually did get to a point where, you know, I thought I was useless. I thought I was really just bad at everything, because she would never praise me for anything at all. Like, I actually probably did do a lot right and a lot good throughout the time I've been her carer, but she never praised me for any of it. It was just always focusing on all the bad things. So not only all of that I've just said, but when she did, you know, like, I'm going to say rope me into being her carer, she didn't give me a choice. It was just like, look, I'm having trouble now. I can't do all of what I used to do. So now you're going to have to take over. Those were the words. You are going to have to take over. No, you know, would you be my carer? But it's okay if you don't want to be my carer. I completely understand. You don't have to. But, you know, I'm appealing to you, would you? Like, to be honest with you, even if she'd have said it that way, even if she'd have worded it that way and given me the option, I probably still, even if I didn't want to, I still probably would have felt obliged to agree. Not because I really wanted to, but just because I would still think, even with her giving the choice, that she would be really disappointed in me and really upset with me and maybe even throw me out if I said, actually, no, I'd rather not, you know? And it would seem like I was turning my back on her and abandoning her, and I just didn't think that that would go down very well. And I would feel guilty, so... yeah, so she never gave me the choice. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to let you listen to this, but just keep in mind it's selfish because she has taken, like, 12 years of my life. The main years, like my youth, and the time I should have been spent on education and working to build a career and have a job and save money. She also took a lot of my money away by getting me to buy all the grocery, like the big shopping grocery shop, the deliveries of a lot of bird food that would come to about 60 quid and so on and so forth. Lots of big amounts of things, and that absolutely dwindled my what savings I did have. So this is why this is insincere, and to me this is fake and selfish.
See, what she wanted was...
It's very low, I'm afraid.
She wanted a way out, and this is it. Oh. It's so sad. Oh.
And the other thing is, before I carry on, as you just heard all those wailing sounds, the sobbing sounds and all that, I mean, to me that does kind of sound a bit fake. It sounds like she's forcing it. And the reason why I think that is not only does it kind of sound a bit forced, but also because I was outside at the time and I came inside the house and it was completely silent, quiet coming from the living room. There was no crying, there's no talking to herself like she's doing now and complaining about me and how I'm going to leave her and abandon her and all that shit that she's saying. There was none of that. It was all silent coming from the living room for a good few minutes until I accidentally knocked into something and made a great big clatter. So now she knows I'm in the house, so of course immediately puts this on. But there was nothing before then. So this makes it obvious to me that she was doing it for my benefit.
So sad, so very, very sad. Okay. So sad, so very, very sad. I didn't want my life to end this way.
I don't know what she means by that, but at the time she was going on about planning to, off herself. So I'm not sure if that's what she meant, or if she meant her life end as in the last years of her life, her elderly life, being spent basically on her own.
But Kirsty wants to not have any guilt. This is a way of her getting what she wants. So she can say, well, this is what the law said, the police, the doctors, social services. So it means it's, she's guilt-free.
See the entitlement?
Everything's a bloody game.
Yeah, and it's a game she's playing. And the game was raise a child to eventually look after you in your old age, which is what she wanted. She used to, in a jokey way, perhaps, she used to go on about that throughout my childhood and life, about how you raise children to look after you in your old age, and that's what's happened. And she raised me pretty much to not be very independent, so I relied heavily on her. So when it came to this, it's like, well, my only option is to stay with her and do this, because otherwise it's leaving and facing an uncertain future out there on my own.
I hate games.
And she knew this very well. She knew very well how
And I always end up the loser.
dependent I was on her. Always end up the loser. Yeah, right. That's me if I stay.
But people don't like me, do they? So, what am I supposed to do?
Well, there's no wonder.
I can't make people like your rugby coming in. You know, not even one person.
But nobody else has been concerned though. So when I have spoken to other people about this, they've said that my mum has probably driven, them all away. The family and everything. But when they have spoken to me, they haven't once said, how are you coping being your mother's carer? Do you need help? Not one person, not once, ever. So they're not blame-free either. Nobody has asked me how I'm coping and asked if I need any help. So as far as I'm concerned, they're all as bad as my mum. They're all as bad as each other. But yes, anyway, let me know what you think about that.